Hello everyone, this is Big Boss Calvin 83. You know, I'm going to discuss this. What gets me about people, everybody from Caucasian people to people of color and other ethnicities like to pretend racism is no more. That we live in a post-racial society, and that the Caucasian millennials and those who were born in the 80s and the 90s and the in the 2000s, those generations of Caucasian people are thus racist to people of color, to particularly so-called black people in Western society, and especially in America. I'm here to tell you this. It's a damn lie. From my experiences growing up, that's a damn lie. With people in my age group, they are so outright hateful towards so-called black people in America. Kick a cut, free case, don't get it twisted. Especially Caucasian people, they are racist. And let me say this before I go any further: if you're a Caucasian person or other ethnic person of color that does not identify with being so-called black, if you're not, in general, if you're not a non-black person, especially a Caucasian person who's not racist, or a non-black person who's not prejudiced, who's not prejudiced against so-called black people, then I'm not talking to you, especially to Caucasian people. If you're a Caucasian person who's been listening to me and been following me or my friends list, if you're not racist, if this doesn't apply to you, let it fucking fly. If it doesn't apply to you, don't fucking reply. If you're not racist, then I'm not talking to you. But what kills me with some of you motherfuckers, y'all like to tell on yourselves, oh, I have a black friend, my best friend is black. When you tell me that, you tell me you're on bullshit, because that tells me that you're a fucking racist. Because I didn't accuse you of anything, but to tell me that you think because you got a so-called black friend, that makes you less racist and you're more liberal and open-minded, it's fucking bullshit. Because let's be real, because most of the so-called black folks, the so-called Asian people, the Latino, and other people of color that you Caucasians like to be friends with, especially with so-called black people, most of the time these motherfuckers, these other ethnic groups of people of color want to be secretly so-called white. They want to be accepted by y'all. They don't have no ethnic pride. Especially so-called black people. I mean, most of your black friends are fucking sellouts, self-haters, coons, handkerchief heads, sambos, Aunt Your Mama bitches. I call them flat-out Negropeans who worship Caucasian people and think they're the fucking standard of life. These motherfuckers, these so-called black friends of yours, Caucasian people, don't have no black pride, don't want to know their fucking history, don't give a shit about their fucking plight, don't want to have so-called black knowledge and knowledge of self and respect their heritage and their culture and their history, and they would rather forsake their so-called Africanness, their blackness, and themselves as people of color sell the fuck out and worship you Caucasian people and put you on a fucking pedestal just to get accepted. Oh, and one of the things I can tell if a Caucasian person is down with me is true, my friend. If I can have a conversation with you about racism, and we can talk about social issues, and you don't deny it, and I can talk about reparations, I can talk about what's going on in society and how black people are treated. And if you're down, and I can find out if you're down, if you were against racism, and I know you calling the shit out, then you're my friend. But if you're a Caucasian person, even a non-Caucasian person that does not identify as being a black person, who's not prejudiced against black people. If you understand what my people go through, what people of color go through, what black people go through, and you're sympathetic and you're willing to fight against racism and Caucasian supremacy and address these issues and check these motherfuckers who are racist and these other groups of color who are prejudiced against so-called black Americans, then I don't have a problem with you. Then you are my friend. But specifically to Caucasian people, you know, who claim that they're not racist, but the minute you bring up reparations, and slavery and Jim Crow, y'all want to be dismissive of my people's pain, suffering, and be insensitive. But you're never insensitive to the fucking Jews. When they talk about the fucking Holocaust, y'all never say, well, you wasn't in the Holocaust. Your mother and your father and you was not part of the Holocaust. Stop talking about the Holocaust. You was never put in a fucking oven. You was never put in a fucking concentration camp. You were never a victim of genocide. So, and y'all never tell me. And if you're a German person, and other people, and you Caucasian, the rest of you Caucasian people say, well, you don't say, well, it was before your time, so you shouldn't talk about it. You should get over it, and you're not part of the Holocaust, and be blatantly saying get over the Holocaust and move on and stop talking about it. It's a past, and there's no anti-Semitism going on. Y'all don't say that to the fucking Jews, but to my people, to people of color, you ignorant, racist piece of shit, motherfucking pale-skinned monkey, bastardized, inbred, Neanderthal, cunt motherfuckers, bitches, who are insensitive as hell to the so-called black struggle of life. Y'all say get over slavery and Jim Crow. Oh, you wasn't a slave. Oh, that was a long time ago. I don't owe you any reparations. In the text, I didn't say you directly owe me reparations. I said the government. Oh, we don't owe you anything. But my people have fought and died. But my ancestors, including myself, pay fucking taxes for this fucking society. Worked 20 times harder than y'all, and we work for free and we don't get nothing from it. And I will say this on a limb, pay more taxes than you guys, believe it or not. But if you look at the wage gap, you understand what I'm talking about. All you gotta do is Google it. You know what I'm saying? You know, you say you had nothing to do with slavery, but you want to reap the benefits of what your evil ancestors did to my people, not only to just so-called Africans and African Americans, but what y'all did to the East Indians, what y'all did to the Asians, what y'all did to the Native Americans, you know, and the Mexicans, and other Latino people of Latino descent. Yeah, but for some reason, when it comes to the Asians, the East Indians, the Arabs, other people of Middle Eastern descent, and Latino people, y'all give reparations. Y'all give them. They don't have to speak a fucking lick of English, but they can get a job just like that. They can go to school for free. They can get welfare and health benefits, social programs. You can fucking name it. Get a new house, drive the current model car, and still get benefits from this country, and they don't speak a lick of English, can open up their own fucking businesses. But when my ancestors who've been here, did not ask to come here, were forced to be here by their fucking will, never got work, pulled themselves by the fucking bootstraps. Y'all Caucasian folks did not pull yourselves up with that bootstrap shit. Everything you had, you stole, you conquered, you colonized, raped, and fucking pillaged. You committed genocide, rape. You sodomized, and committed all these heinous acts against the indigenous peoples. But you don't. But you want to reap the benefits of the stolen wealth and the power and the status that y'all gained from doing that shit. But you want to reap the benefits of it, but you don't want the responsibility. That bullshit, we ain't playing that bullshit no fucking more. You know, and then y'all want to shut us up and talk about your so-called pride as a Caucasian person. Oh, how hard my life is. I get individual responses and comments from Caucasian people talking about how hard their life is. And talking about, I struggled too. I didn't say you fucking struggled. What I'm saying is you didn't have to go through the bullshit I went through based off the color of your fucking skin. When I say white privilege, I'm not talking to y'all. Think when I talk white privilege and when people of color talk about white privilege, y'all mad because of the fact that you're not living in a fucking big house, that you don't have a fucking mansion, and you're not driving a fucking Mercedes Benz, paid the fuck off too. And you got money in the bank, y'all think because you're not living that kind of lifestyle, those are the Caucasian peoples, and you're not like the elite class of the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Bilderbergs, since you think you're not part of that class that, there's no white privilege, don't fucking exist. No. You're incorrect, though. You're incorrect. White privilege fucking exists, okay? White privilege exists, accept it. You know, y'all benefit off this. You like to call black women welfare queens, but the biggest welfare queen is the Caucasian woman. She has benefited off of affirmative action. Y'all say we have a black president. What has Obama done for black people? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. So, y'all had Caucasian presidents, and what have they done for the poor Caucasian people? Not a fucking thing. We don't throw that in your fucking face, bitches. You pale, pink skin monkey bitches. Yeah, I don't say that shit. And I'm attacking y'all you racist motherfuckers, okay? And you trolls. And like I said before, white privilege is about having the benefit of the doubt. Getting a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance, a fifth chance, and etc. White privilege is you don't have to worry about, you can walk down the street and you don't have to worry about cops stopping you and shooting you. You can drive down the highway and sometimes some of y'all speed and commit driving infractions, but y'all don't have to worry about the cops pulling you over, especially if you got drugs on you and fucking killing you on the fucking spot. Because they thought you were reaching for something. Some of you Caucasian people know what I'm talking about. Y'all been pulled over by the police and y'all reached for something. The cops didn't question the fuck out of you, and you live to see another fucking day. Y'all curse out the fucking cops. Cops don't do nothing to you. Some of them leave you alone. Some just give you a warning, or some of them just take you to jail. But you good. But they give you a slap on the wrist and you off home and you go back home. That's white privilege. And then you want to talk about black people being racist, reverse racist. But y'all don't call Asian people reverse racist. Y'all don't call Latinos reverse racist. But you don't try that bullshit with them, even though they stick together like a motherfucker and work together and do what they gotta do to survive. And you don't call Middle Eastern, y'all might call Middle Eastern terrorists, but y'all don't call them reverse racist. But y'all the biggest Caucasian people are the biggest terrorists that ever lived in the last, I would say 2,000 to 6,000 fucking years. Y'all the biggest terrorists. Okay? You know, like I said before, tell me what a black racist is. Y'all like to use the definition that a racist is somebody that doesn't like somebody for the color of their fucking skin. That's part of a fraction of the definition. The definition of a true racist, and I'll tell you why so-called black people cannot be racist, is because you got to have wealth, power, status, and influence, and own and control stuff control society and control the world to be a fucking racist. Racism is about power and control and oppression and abusing and terrorizing and getting by with it. Committing, colonizing, raping and pillaging, committing genocide, enslaving. That's racism. Not somebody calling you a fucking cracker or saying I don't want to play with you. I'd rather have black players. No, that's just being slightly prejudiced, but that's not being racist. Racism is about. Let me say this: have you Caucasian people, as a Caucasian person, to you Caucasian people out there, have you ever seen black people dress up as whiteface? I'm about to dig in this article. You see black people having sundown towns and having an all-black government, all-black police force, shooting unarmed unarmed Caucasian boys, young Caucasian men, old Caucasian men, middle-aged Caucasian men. You know, you see so-called black people having sundown towns where a Caucasian person cannot go in that particular neighborhood, or they will get shot the fuck up or be fucking lynched. Have black people, as so-called black people instead of Caucasian people in America. Have black people ever go around throughout the whole fucking world and with their black supremacy and enslaved and colonized and raped and pillaged and committed genocide and terroristic acts and heinous acts on indigenous people? Have so-called black people ever tried to eradicate Caucasian people off the face of this fucking planet by bringing their fucking diseases and plagues and cutting pregnant women's stomach open, cutting women's stomach open, cutting the stomach open of a pregnant woman and taking the fetus out and stomping it to death? Do so-called black people, particularly black men, have a lynch mob? Have you ever bombed towns and destroyed so-called white towns and terrorized y'all and with our so-called African flag and lit crosses in your fucking yard? You know what I'm saying? I mean, really, y'all talk about reverse racism and like to pull the reverse racist card. When y'all talk about complaining about your misfortunes of injustice, do we have black denial and say, well, that was in the past and you need to get over it, or some instances of dismissive bullshit that y'all like to say to us? Do so-called black people celebrate the deaths of Caucasian people and try to do George Zimmerman on your ass and then deflect the blame? Well, he was Latino, so he gets a pass since he's not black. Since he's not black, he's Latino. But George Zimmerman is half Caucasian and he killed your kid. So, even though he may be so-called half black, I'll just say it like this. He may be half black, but since he's Latino, since he killed an unarmed Caucasian teenager, we're not responsible for it. You know, some shit like that. You know, George Zimmerman hated so-called black people, even though he's a person of color himself, considered a so-called minority, which is actually the majority. Okay? How many Caucasian people have been denied loans and opportunities and help because of the color of their fucking skin? How many Caucasian people have been denied job or opportunities for having a so-called white-sounding name? Ask yourself that. How are so-called black people stopping you from living your life and prospering and having the freedoms that y'all fucking take for granted and enjoy? And even if you do have so-called freedom, okay, like some of y'all say, we don't know about our fucking rights because y'all control the school system, whether you like it or not. You may not control the bank directly, but you're part of a group that controls the banks, particularly Caucasian people, the educational system, the banks. the real estate industry. I mean, all the industries, basically, y'all can even control, y'all, I mean, most of y'all control the goddamn globe to practice your Caucasian supremacy. Black people don't control nothing and own nothing and don't control nothing and don't own anything to practice a global black supremacy, to spread hate. And do we control the media do so-called black people control the media portraying stereotype, producing negative stereotypes of Caucasian people? I mean, if we really want to go there, you know, most of the networks are owned by Caucasians, okay? Like I said before. And I'll say it like this. Let me get my thoughts together. We don't demonize Caucasian men and to be thugs and criminals and pedophiles and rapists and murderers and shit. Okay? We don't have the power, people of color don't have the power to control the media. We don't demonize Caucasian women to be sluts and whores and child killers, basically committing a series of abortions and living off the fucking system. But Caucasian women live off the system. Caucasian people as a whole live off the fucking system compared to other immigrants. But y'all claim that you're getting the raw deal when it's your fucking government playing your fucking ass, too. That's run and controlled by a so-called white face. Congress, maybe not the so-called black president, but I'm talking about Congress that actually controls the presidency. So yeah, y'all convince me with that reverse racist bullshit because that doesn't exist. Now I want to read you this article, and we don't see so-called black people making fun and mocking Caucasian people, making fun of their looks and shit, then turn around and want to dress up as whiteface. You know, we don't do that. We don't mock y'all. We don't disrespect y'all on a constant basis. We don't lie to y'all and lie on y'all and try to destroy your lives and terrorize y'all and rape y'all and kill y'all like y'all try to do to us. And if you're a Caucasian person who's nothing that I described, then don't be offended when I'm talking about these other motherfuckers who are treacherous as hell. Don't worry about what I do, and then some idiot's gonna say in the comment section, well, I think black people should worry about, should check their own people before they check Caucasian people. You need to shut the fuck up. Because every time we try to, how can we check our own people when every time we try to address certain things to our people, you Caucasian people have to butt in our fucking business. You have to butt in everybody else's business and talk about humanity, mind everybody else's business, but when other people, other ethnic groups of color, non-Caucasians butt in your fucking business, you get offended. I know I'm all over the place with this video, but I gotta get this out there. You know? The only way, I mean, the reason why there's so-called black and white crime is it was created by Caucasian people with, I mean, look at the poverty rate of people of color, of how we live. And and don't talk about me, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about in general. Just because I don't live in poverty like that, don't mean that it's not an issue. Just because you got some so-called rich black folks, don't mean poverty and systematic racism doesn't exist. Okay? Majority of so-called black people are at the bottom of the social-economic totem pole. And the reason why there's so-called black and black crime that y'all describe is because y'all bring the drugs in, y'all bring the guns in to our communities. Y'all create all this self-hatred and this making us feel inadequate and shit. We're afraid to take it out on you because of the consequences, so we lash out on each other. But let's talk about white on white crime, so-called white on white crime. Y'all, I mean, the majority of Caucasian men are the biggest sex offenders, the biggest pedophiles, child molesters, rapists, rape women across the board, whatever, no matter what color she is. Y'all the biggest rapists. Y'all commit financial fraud, insurance fraud, bank fraud, y'all name it. Y'all the biggest terrorists. The client, and I mean, y'all try to say Black Lives Matter and the Black Panthers are terrorists when you already say that the Klan and these other so-called white supremacist groups are the biggest terrorists. The government of the United States government is the biggest terrorist, and who runs the government? Caucasians. That's a fact. Okay? So when I talk about racism and all this shit, instead of being mad at me, be mad at the people in your group who's doing this shit. Okay? I will, as far as me checking my own people for doing questionable things, well, we can't take personal responsibility for ourselves until you take personal responsibility for your shit. Until you stop terrorizing us and killing us for some bullshit, lying on us, getting us in legal trouble, until y'all stop burying our fucking business and telling us how to run our lives, and you check yourself and run your life, then there's nothing to be said. So bottom line is that I'm going to read this article because I don't want to make this video too fucking long. If you choose to wear blackface on Halloween, you're just plain racist. Exactly. It happens every Halloween like clockwork. Some coolest Caucasian person, they're not coolest. They know what the fuck they're doing. But back to the article. Rather it be a famous actress like Jung Hong, I don't know how you say her name, or an Alabama school teacher from a small town wears a costume includes blackface and goes viral. The internet is outraged. A forum popped up about why blackface is not okay. Apologies, pseudo apologies. I'm sorry that you're offended are an issue. At this point, it's been fairly established on nearly every corner of the internet that blackface is bad. The history of blackface with its roots in racist minstrel shows have been outlined. They never went away, y'all. The racist implications of blackface, the way it stereotypes and exaggerates and demonizes black features, has been explained. In other words, the information is out there. It's all over Facebook, timeless, and Twitter feeds. Therefore, anyone who's willing to choose to don blackface and other culturally appropriative costumes this Halloween is making a concerted effort to be stupidly ignorant, and that's right. Look at these bitches. I hope they get shot. I hope they get cancer. Breast cancer, cervical cancer. I hope somebody rapes the fuck out of them, beats the shit out of them, and I hope they get some. I mean, since Caucasian people are masters of making diseases, I hope they fucking catch some kind of disease and die from a slow, painful death. And I hope their kids are victims of some heinous act, some heinous crime, and they're suffering, and they wonder why. These motherfuckers need to be shot and killed. Yeah, I said it. And I'm not telling you to go out and do it. I'm just saying. So don't get it twisted. So you convince me about that. What I'm saying is some harm needs to happen to these fucking bitches. These fucking cunts. Because you don't see you don't see Germans, go around Jewish neighborhoods, or just walk around America, period, dressing up as fucking Nazis. You don't see people dressing up as fucking Nazis, mocking and terrorizing fucking Jewish people. You don't see that shit. But everybody else, every other group, feels as that they can disrespect black people, and this really pisses me off. People of color, I should say, disrespect people of color, mock us, and take our pain and make us relive our pain and just mock our pain and be dismissive of our pain, and that's wrong itself. And you don't see so-called black people doing that to Caucasian people or any other group. If we did that shit, we would be black. We would be blackballed. We would be killed. We would be beat up. I mean, bad things would happen to us. Bad shit. And this woman who has the right to feel angry just like I do. Attention, being black ain't no costume. And if you feel the need to do blackface, be prepared to get slapped the fuck up. I say be prepared to get shot and killed. And be run over by a fucking car. A fucking truck. I mean, this is just complete degradation. Nikki ain't even dark skin. This wasn't necessary. RT, Emma Jones, 129, Nicki Minaj and Drake in the cut. Dynamic duo. I mean, Caucasian people, really, y'all got too much free time on your fucking hands. You don't see us, people of color, imitating y'all and dressing like y'all, trying to be like y'all. And don't dress up the David Chappelle bullshit, okay? That's just comedy, okay? So-called black people do not have a history of producing minstrel shows, mocking and disrespecting and committing degradation and humiliation against Caucasian people, okay? So let me finish this article and I got something else to you. Something else for y'all. If you're planning to wear blackface this Halloween, take a step back. Look at your life. Excuse me. Look at your choices. Is it really necessary to blacken your skin in order to portray a black character or celebrity? Do you truly feel that doing this isn't demeaning to the people who walk in this skin every day, don't have the luxury of washing off at the end of the night? If you consider all these things and still decide to go, congratulations, you're being a racist. So this Halloween, blackface wearers, you do not get the benefit of the doubt. Do not act indignant, shocked, or surprised when you get called out for wearing a racist costume. Don't say that you didn't know blackface was bad. Blackface was bad. Don't compare wearing blackface to something harmless like wearing a fucking wig. Don't claim innocence. Don't complain about political correctness, and don't pull that reverse racism card. Don't pull the reverse racism card. Just admit it. Just admit that you knew your costume was messed up and you decided to wear it anyway. Happy fucking Halloween. Happy Halloween. As a matter of fact, we should boycott Halloween. Now I got a clip I want to show you guys. Because people like to talk about about lynchings and how lynchings are the thing of the past. It's not the thing of the fucking past. And let me play the clip and I'll give you the rest of my commentary. Come on.
We stand here today with Mr. and Mrs. Payton because of an unfortunate incident that happened in the Stone County School District. Just recently, their son was assaulted in school. He was assaulted in the way in which individuals took the liberty to lasso a rope around his neck and pull the noose tight. It is an unfortunate incident because these same individuals earlier this year came to school brandishing Confederate flags in their vehicles. As of today, Mr. and Mrs. Payton has not been notified of any actions taken against the young men As NAACP and Mr. Robert James, the local branch president, we're calling on federal investigators to view this as a racial hate crime. No child should be in fear of going to school. No child should be walking down the hall or in a locker room and be accosted with a noose around their neck. This is 2016, not 1916. This is America. This is a place where children should go to school and feel safe in their environment. We call on the Stone County school districts to take immediate action to rectify this situation in accordance with their policy. Their policy is very clear, that if a child is assaulted in school, that those who are involved should be expelled immediately. That has not happened. We are called attention to this incident to ensure it is not swept under the rug, and this child who was accosted is provided the proper safety in this school environment. The unfortunate part of this scenario, Mrs. Payton did attempt to file charges with the sheriff's department, and she was discouraged from doing so because one of the young men's father is a former law enforcement officer.
Like I told y'all, white privilege. White privilege.
Every week, The Daily Show with Trevor Noah brings you...
Y'all said, like many people, even these Negro peeing handkerchief head coons like to say, well, y'all, we didn't grow up in the segregation era and we weren't slaves, we shouldn't be talking about racism. Y'all part of the problem. Stop protecting these racist motherfuckers, these racist Caucasian people, and stop saying that it's 2016 and y'all can't believe why racism is still alive and well. And actually, these kids are young, or way younger than me. They were born in the year 2000s and are doing this shit. Okay? The millennials and the kids of the 2000 baby Caucasians, 2000 babies Caucasian folks are these Caucasian kids are more racist than their fucking parents and the fucking grandparents and their ancestors that lived in the slavery days in the Jim Crow era. Okay, the difference is with the millennial Caucasians. And like I said, if you're a Caucasian person and you're claiming you're not racist and you're against all that shit, I'm not talking to you. But I'm talking to the ones who are. If, like I said, they're more slick with their racism and they know how to hide it better. They learn from the failures of their grandparents. You know what I'm saying? And their parents. Of how we were able to get integration in the civil rights movement. They learned from the civil rights movement, and they came up with new tactics, and they taught their kids, these racist kids, from their racist parents and grandparents and great-grandparents and upward in previous generations. I told these kids, these Caucasian kids, how to hate people of color and how to be slick with their racism and systematically oppress them and fuck them over and use the system against us. You know what I'm saying? The reason why, these kids are getting bold with their racism. Rather be the Caucasian male or the female, they are getting bold with their racism. And it is 2016, and the way they're more racist than I'm even having a conversation, listening to my grandparents talk, and they told me, hey, these kids. Don't be a fool. These kids are slick with their racism. They're more racist and slick with their racism and evil, wicked, heinous ways than the kids and the Caucasian people that they grew up with in their generation of the 20s and the 40s and 50s through downward to the 60s. Okay? And I think the reason why these many Caucasian people are acting out because they want Trump in office. They think because Barack Obama's leaving since the black president is going bye-bye, they feel they can do this shit to us. And I'm telling my people of color, my people, that to wake the fuck up. Stop praying. Stop trying to be fair and diplomatic. Stop trying to argue sense into these motherfuckers. They don't care. They don't give a damn about our fucking plight. They're not really our friends, okay? Stop trying to compromise and stop trying to be sweet and understanding to them. My people, stop trying to be understanding to these racist motherfuckers. Okay? They do not like us. Stop trying to find as sad as this is, stop and to you Caucasian people, well, not all of us are like that. There's some good Caucasian people. You know what? I hear that all the goddamn time, just like there's some good cops. Fuck that. If you ain't saying shit and ain't doing shit about this racism, if you ain't trying to end racism and Caucasian supremacy, I can't fuck with you. And that's real. If you ain't doing shit, if you ain't checking these racists, if you're a Caucasian person and you ain't checking these racist Caucasians, people of your group, and these Caucasian supremacists, because they're part of your family friends, your friends and your family members, okay? You got clan in your family members, and other Caucasian supremacists. If you ain't saying shit about this racism, and you ain't challenging them and trying to end racism and ain't checking these motherfuckers, don't try to be my friend. Shut the fuck up. And that's real. You know, I mean, just recently I did a video about this. And I want to show you the article real quick. Remember this girl? I did a video on this. And another thing, my people, y'all think being friends, you think because integration happened that y'all have the privilege to whip around some of them and date them and fuck them, that there's no racism. My people of color, y'all better wake up. And without seeing Caucasian people that are just attacking people of color, particularly black people, they're attacking other groups. They're talking Asians, attacking Latinos. They're throwing everybody. They're coming after everybody. If you're a non-Caucasian, if you don't have pale skin, they're coming after you. You know why? Because they're paranoid. You know? So take heed to my warning. It all boils down to knowing your history and controlling your God. If you're a person of color and you're watching this video, this is real. Racism is real. And it ain't going nowhere until we stand up against it. And praying and playing by the rules ain't going to get it done. I'm not a radical person, but I call bullshit, and I see bullshit for what it is. Okay? You know? All I'm saying is, if you see these people doing this shit, they need to be checked. The best way to push back and fight back is to combat racism. If you know these people right here doing this shit, contact their employer. Contact them. Contact their employer and get their ass fired. If they got their own business, make sure you boycott their business. Okay? And that's the best thing. The best way to fight back against racism, my people, is to not be dependent on these and not be a slave to the lender, not be dependent on these motherfuckers, because they ain't your friend. And if these good Caucasian people ain't saying nothing, I don't want to then shut the fuck up and because I know you're the enemy and you ain't my friend. Y'all have a good night. Peace.